Hi, boys and girls. This is Miss Jacob, and we're here for our daily read aloud. And today we're going to read a book called Three Hens and a Peacock. And let me tell you, these hens get really jealous of this peacock because the peacock gets so much attention. Let's read to find out what happens. So, Three Hens and a Peacock. This is written by Lester Laminack, and it's illustrated by Henry Cole. Things were quiet on the Tuckers' farm. The cows chewed their cud. The hens clucked and pecked and laid their eggs. The old hound stretched out on the porch, watching and listening. Once in a while, someone would stop to buy tomatoes or corn, perhaps a quart of milk. Nothing unusual happened there until... Look, that peacock showed up. The cows and the hens and the old hound kept right on doing what they'd always done, but that peacock had never lived on a farm. He had no idea what to do. So he spread his fancy feathers and set to shrieking. And shrieking, boys and girls, is like a really loud noise. Eventually, the peacock wandered down the road. When the cars whizzed by, he shook his feathers and cried out in his loudest voice. Of course, folks stopped for a closer look. Day after day, more folks stopped to admire the peacock, and they all bought tomatoes and corn, eggs and milk. Business on the Tuckers' farm was booming. Everyone seemed happy to have visitors stopping by. I wonder who's not happy. But trouble was brewing in the hen house. The hens were squawking and clucking and flapping their wings. We do all the work around here. I'd like to see that peacock lay one single egg. Exactly. He just struts around and screams. I suppose fancy feathers are more important than laying eggs. That lazy peacock gets all the attention, and we do all the work. I think the peacock heard them. I wonder how that made the peacock feel. The peacock has heard every word. For days he moped about, moaning and groaning. I wish I could be more useful around here. Clucked one hen. The others ruffled their feathers. The old hound stretched and slowly raised his head. Why not let the peacock stay here to be useful while you hens take the glamorous job down by the road? The hens began clucking to one another. What a wonderful plan! Yes, it's a fabulous idea. Oh, ladies, we simply must fancy up our feathers tonight, and nothing but our brightest beads, bangles, and bows. We'll stop traffic for sure. Well, you girls know I can strut with the best of them. The peacock perked up. Let's do it, he declared. Tomorrow I'll stay here, sit on a nest, and cluck. And we'll get guys up too, said the hens. We'll be so glamorous, we'll get gussied up. I wonder what's going to happen. At sunrise the next morning, the hens strutted down the road. Looks like they got really fancy. They put on their necklaces. The peacock marched right to the hen house and poked his head inside. So he's going to go sit on some eggs. Can a peacock lay an egg? The The hens flocked by the road, waiting for a car. When they saw one approaching, they clucked and squawked and flapped their wings in a flurry of feathers. But every car whizzed right by. The peacock sucked in his tummy and wiggled from left to right, trying to squeeze through the tiny henhouse door. His front half was in, his back half was out. He could hardly fit. He couldn't even get in the hen house because peacocks are so much bigger than hens. Down by the road, these hens tried every chicken trick they knew. Still no cars stopped. Finally, the peacock made it into the hen house. He held his breath and pushed with all his might, but no matter how hard he tried, he could not lay a single egg, not one. Because peacocks don't lay eggs, do they, guys? I don't know why that peacock thinks he could just lay an egg. The old hound stretched out on the porch, watching and listening. "What's that peacock doing in the hen house?" asked Farmer Tucker. "Who knows?" said Miss Tucker. "And what are those hens doing down by the road? Not a one of them is up here laying eggs." "Well, the way things are going, we aren't likely to have anyone buying eggs today. We need that peacock down there stopping cars." When the peacock heard that, he smiled. Why do you think the peacock is smiling? He heard Mr. and Mrs. Tucker say that they needed him, and that made him feel very happy. He smiled the biggest smile you ever saw on a bird's beak. "I am helping," he thought. He squirmed back and forth until he popped out of the hen house. Then he trotted to find the hens. You'd think he was going to let the hens know that they needed to switch spots. And when he got there to where the hens were, the exhausted hens were all clucked out. Every feather was out of place. They looked exhausted. What a day! We couldn't get one car to stop. It's true, while most of them didn't even slow down. Now I'm going to tell you, boys and girls, if I was driving a car and I drove by and saw hens on the side of the road with necklaces on, I would stop because I would definitely look. I would stop and take a picture. Wouldn't you? I would be so curious. The peacock met the hens as they trudged up the road. "I can tell you, I'm no good at laying eggs," he said. "I'm just not meant for it." One hen nodded. "I put on my stellar strut and even I couldn't stop a single car," she said. "I have to hand it to you, Fancy Feathers. Your job is harder than it looks." The other hens agreed. The peacock looked relieved. So the hens marched back to the hen house. The peacock strutted down to the road. The old hound stretched out on the porch, watching and listening. And the Tuckers' farm was quiet again. I wonder what this picture is. Did the peacock actually lay an egg? The egg's so big. That's silly. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed this book, and I just want to talk for a moment. Sometimes authors want the readers, which is like you and me because we read the book. Sometimes authors want the readers to learn a message, or there's a lesson in the book that teaches us something. And the message in this book is to be proud of what you can do. So the peacock needed to be proud and realized by the end of the book he was proud of what he could do. Even though he couldn't do what the hens were doing, he eventually learned to be proud of himself. And I always want you guys to be proud of you, and that's why we always give our brains a kiss when we're doing a good job, because you're acknowledging your hard work. That's really important. Also, don't try to be someone else. The peacock tried to be the hens, and the hens tried to be the peacock. But that didn't work, did it? They both are really good and special at doing their own things. Also, another lesson or message that the author wanted us to learn is that saying unkind things about others can lead to trouble. So what happened in our story was that the peacock overheard the hens talking and saying unkind words about him, and it hurt his feelings. And that's why all of that started. I hope that you guys have a fantastic week of learning, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.